Hi, this is Christina, and I'm here with my 49th journal to do a quick flip through for you. A little bit of housekeeping. She's 9 inches long and about 6.5 inches wide, a little over 2-inch spine, and you've got just a very simple little dangle here with some really cool, I think this is yarn, and then some glass beads. There are 3 signatures in about 180 pages, front and back. We've got metal protectors on the corners, and then the front, or the journal itself, is covered in material, and all of the, I think there's 4 different types of material, and these are all from TimHoltz. And then you've got a little placard here that says create, and this gorgeous butterfly that I've sprayed with Lindy's Magicals, excuse me, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then the back, just a simple butterfly on the back. And it's just held together with a tie from the material here. So let's get started. As I said, this is the 49th journal, and it's a little card here that says when it was created, held with a butterfly that has been sprayed with some Lindy's and I think Ranger inks too. The digital, it is a hidden spine, so that's held in there, which I think is kind of a fun way to do the signatures. The digitals are from Creative Fabrica, most of them. If they're not, I'll let you know. And this beautiful lace, I sprayed it with, I believe, some Ranger inks and did some stamping. Gives a little bit of variegated, and then you've got a little small journal here. A little pocket here with a little bit of ephemera, and this, I believe this is the handmade paper, and then just a couple other, and I'm not sure, I can't remember what this is called, but anyway, some fun textures you can take out of there, untie it, and add more if you'd like. And it just goes in that little pocket. This, I just took a frame, did some embossing here, and you've got a tag there. So this is some acetate, so you've got created a little picture frame, and then some faux pearls down the side, and some the papers are either dyed, coffee dyed, or in this case I think this is RIT dye, and then I did some embossing with some purple there. And this I believe was from 49 and Market, and then I just added some stenciling on there and some embossing, and then just took a little tag and added some different not embossing, but some collage. Whew, my brain. This is made on newsprint, and then I actually printed it on the newsprint, and then just did some coloring. I probably did the coloring first and then ran it through my printer. I love the colors that it came out. Oh, and as you probably noticed, this is mostly purple. Here's a doily that I did some spraying and then added some embossing. And this, I've left this empty for you to add whatever you'd like in this belly band. And this was just a piece of muslin that I dyed and then did some stamping. Of course, added a little butterfly there. And on this page, I believe I did some embossing here and then added a tag that I had done some collaging on that fits in the back there. And then this is really kind of a neat saying, there are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. And that just tucks in right there. And again, I don't know what this yarn is called. I can't remember, but I just love the colors. Now, I haven't made anything with it, but I like adding it to the journals. And this is another kind on the other side. And then you've got some blue dyed paper there. Plenty of places to add your own, and then add some writing, add some different pockets here, just kind of leaving a little bit of that blank, and then you can journal there. And in the center, I love these digitals, in the center, this is printed on thick vellum, and it just picks up the, you can see through it and picks up the digital from the other side. Again, more places to journal, and for you to add your own ephemera there. And then more places to journal. And then this was, I believe this was from TimHoltz, and I just cut from his paper pack, and I just cut that in half and then just added a stamp. And then this was also a journaling card, a tag, and then I just embossed that little blue butterfly on there. And then this is just another paper that you can journal on, and just kind of use that tuck right there. More places for you to journal. The other part of our doily, and then I hope you can see that, so pretty, that print. And then, like I said, I did some spraying and adding, you can see the shimmer. I think this is from Lindy's. And then this was a die cut, and I added some little black, I believe it's glossy accents, you can kind of see, and it picked up whatever color that's on the ink, it picked up that color. This is from I believe 1910. This was again found in my mother-in-law's, where she kept all of her papers. And I just thought with that purple ribbon, that kind of matched our theme here. And then this is just a little piece of ephemera. And then I did some embossing. Without change, there would be no butterflies. And then you've got this beautiful dark purple dyed paper, places for you to add, and then places for you to journal. And then this is just sewed on the side with some, I think this is mulberry paper, handmade paper. You can just tear that off and add it anywhere in the book that you'd like. More places for you to journal. And that's the end of the first signature. Here's our second signature. And this is just plain white lace that I have dyed purple. And again, this is Journal 49. Places for you to journal here. And then I just cut this in half. I believe this is a 49 and mark it. And then I just did some collage, added a button here. And then this was, I think this was just a leftover imprint. And I just thought it was really pretty and just left it there. And then these are a couple of journaling cards from some of the other journal prints that I made. And beautiful. Look at this lace. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely stunning. Love that. And then this was, I think this was off of a pillowcase, and I just did some dies on there. And then you've got some tags. And then this is not vintage. It's probably TimHoltz or Taperology. I love the absolutely vibrant colors. And again, this is that handmade paper. And then just some sprays that I did on a plain coffee dyed paper. And this is material that I found in a thrift store, and I've, cut it in sections. I did some stamping on it, and then added, this is from Stamperia. You've got a little card in there, places for you to add. I did some spraying on a piece of tracing paper, and you can see I did some embossing there. And this, I believe this was linen, and I did some mixed media on it and some stamping. And this is that same, like that other card that I showed you, just some overspray. I thought that was, came out fun. And just a plain envelope. I did some embossing, some stamping, and then inside is an index card that I did some mixed media, stamping, spraying, all the things. And then this was left out in the sun and got that nice lilac purple color. This, I believe, is from 1910. This is actual vintage paper, and I had Google Lens, and I want to say this was 1910 card. Goes in there. We got a little butterfly, and I love this checked pattern, but it's a good day for a good day, and this is just the beginning. And then a tag that I just did some collage on, and it sticks right there in the little butterfly. And more places for you to add, and some journaling. And one of my favorite papers that I've dyed out in the sun, I'm hoping I can recreate this, or at least some of the pattern. Again, that's left blank, and here's the center, absolutely gorgeous on vellum. And again, you can see through to the other side of the digital. Again, more places to journal. And this is a piece of TimHoltz material from his Eclectic and Abandoned, and I just added it to the bottom of this butterfly card. And again, more lace that I dyed. And this was off of a card from, I believe, 1951, and I liked the purple, so I added it there. And then just a really pretty piece of lace. The other part of our tracing paper. And let's see, these two, and I believe this is material that I had done some mixed media, did some stamping and stenciling. You've got a little journaling card there. And then this was printed on newsprint, and you can kind of see the print coming through there and the shimmer. And then you can journal on the back. And I think this was extra, and I just didn't, I wanted to make sure it got added into the journal. And then that handmade paper. And again, just really pretty dyed paper. And with the sun being out, I'm going to hopefully get some more sun dried. I love putting it out there because the stencils do so well. More places for you to journal. That's the end of our second signature. And here's our third. Again, more dyed lace. And this was from a paper pack, and then I believe I've added that from Typology, and it says, thoughts that whisper to my heart. And then just a little card. I did some not stamping, I'm sorry. This is from sun-dried paper, and just says, in the garden. And on this side, I love this paper. This is from I think this is probably an 8x8, but I just think the colors are so pretty. And then I did some embossing on that. You can write on the back of it. And actually, and this is some more that I did some stenciling here and some embossing. And then so you can write on the back of that and on that. And then on this side, this was, again, from my mother-in-law's when she was in school. This is just a return. I believe this was in pencil from 1937. And then this postcard, and I believe this is from might be 1987, 14-cent stamp. So you've got all that. And then this band, I did some stamping on that piece of linen. And then this is a little hard to see, but I did a little bit of mixed media and then just added just all kinds of little splotches and fun things, and even float on the back. From one of the digitals, made a circle card, and then you can write on the back of that. And then this was that paper, and I don't know, it's very thin, but I did some stamping on it. I thought it just really turned out pretty. I need to do more with that. And then again, some of that material I showed you before from the thrift store, and I put a cardstock on the back of it to make it a little more sturdy. And then you've got a couple of little cards in there. And then I took a digital and just did some stamping on that. You have a couple pockets, and this is from a calendar from 1958. Put that back in the pocket. And then this also came from, I believe, it was a telephone book. Yeah, Friends Who Called. And that was, again, from my mother-in-law's storage. And then just some of the material I used as a ruffle. And then you've got a little charm here, a resin charm. And on this side, we've got a ticket. Excuse me, I don't know what this ticket was for, but I'll leave that in there. And then you've got, I believe this is from a book from a long time ago. And the same here. So you've got a lot of vintage and antique, and it fits in this pocket. Again, I did some mixed media and then some stamping. And this just came out of a magazine with all the purple and the lilac. Again, some more embossing and a couple of tags and other places for you to write here. I love this. I just think that's so pretty. Places for you to journal. And then I just made this tiny little butterfly there. It says choose to see the good stuff, and then just another tag that fits in that little corner. And this was a lot of fun to do here. So it just a little paper clip, and it holds this tag, which I added heart and soul to the bottom. Dyed some lace, and you lift it up, and you've got a place to journal here. And I believe this is another card for you to journal on. I love that I thought it turned out so pretty. So this just tucks in there, and I believe I'll have to look and see, but I'll set this aside. And so I'll remember to put all that back together. Okay, here's our center. Isn't that gorgeous? That beautiful purple butterfly. And again, you can add stuff here, journal there, and then another one of those, what am I trying to say? Index cards. And then I did some mixed media and then some stamping on that. And this it folds out, and you've got places to journal here and here, and I've just added extra cards in there for you to do that. Put that back there. The other part of that magazine. It's beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I think I said that a lot. It's very pretty lace. And then in this corner, you've got a little tag that I just did some stamping on. Again, being held by the butterfly, that he's got some glossy accents there. And then this is a card that I made, and you can keep it for yourself or you can mail it out. I've included the envelope, but I thought that matched our purple theme. And then this is a snippet roll that I put together of different purple material that I had. And then the other part that we were printing on. And then another butterfly with some glossy accents. You can journal on the back of that. And then this came from a 1971 antique magazine that tells you how much each of the antique pieces are. And then this is just a cutout, and I added some glossy accents and some sprays, and you can journal on the back of that. Put that back there. And then here, I got this at a thrift store, and then I've just sprayed it. I think it's normally white, and you've got another page from that antique book. And then this is from 1912, this postcard. And then with the butterfly, I just did some stamping on it and kind of bring out that silver. A little embossing, and then a butterfly sticker there, some places for you to journal here, and then a little card in the corner held by this butterfly. And then in addition, there'll be a small little journal that you can kind of take with you. It's got some of that, I believe this is wax paper that I had done some waxing, a little key in the center, some embossing on the back. And there you go. This will be listed in my Etsy shop, and I thank you so much for watching. And everybody, please have a good week. Bye.